audio coming through okay?
Here we go.
Your
You
audio?
sound fantastic.
It's beautiful.
Hello, Ben. We are joined
Hello.
by Highway. I don't know how much of your name you like to give out. That's why I called you Highway.
Yeah, I'm Benjamin. I'm Pieway.
It's Ben Easter. Ben. Well, look. Here's the thing, Ben.
That's true. It
That's
is
my
out there.
Instagram, yeah.
It's out there.
I don't think Ben is like trying to be like, ooh, I'm Mr.
Ooh,
Mysterious.
belly television. Ooh.
Yeah, well, I'm a mononym. I go by Belly or whatever. Or don't talk about my parents who are professors at the URM.
One of my parents is a professor. God damn it.
Or don't talk about where I work
your
and
mom
what's
is
my
a professor.
address.
Your
Yeah,
mom
That
is
is true. That is very true. I was talking to someone who was like going to I had an opponent who was like talking about applying for medical school, and I was like, oh, my mom was a professor at a medical school for many years, and he's like, oh, are you a doctor? And I was like,
no,
I'm not a social worker.
No, but we are joined by Ben, who, if you don't know Ben, you probably do, because he's in the I Love You Mana community. He's in our orbit, but he's a videographer. He's a content producer. He's a chemist.
Scientist.
Yeah, my day
Pokemon
job
enthusiast.
is scientist.
He's a Pokemon taxonomist and trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are both
Thank
well. I know Belly's been getting back into Pokemon lately.
I do, and we are going to jump into this, but let's do a little more pre-roll. I think
just a little more. I have like nothing but like it sucks because like I'm coming to the table with like nothing but Magic content on the mind, and like maybe I don't know. Neil Breen's movie is coming out. Neil Breen's new movie is coming out.
I haven't seen it yet. I really want to.
Have you seen the trailer at all?
Yeah.
Dude, so wait, I want. So this is what I can surmise from the trailer. Neil Breen's character. For those of you who aren't familiar, Neil Breen is like an auteur filmmaker who I think is a little more shrewd than people give him credit for. Like I was watching
self-inserts with women so much.
he definitely has an insanely inflated ego. But he I think he's a little more shrewd than people give him credit for. Like he refuses to become like a midnight movie feature kind of guy, like midnight cult movies. Like he only allows the movies to be played at like, professional, real movie times. And I think he has his actors sign a pretty ironclad NDA because none of the actors ever talk about like working on his films. But he's a terrible actor, and he casts himself in the main role of basically Superman, the greatest human, sometimes alien that ever lived.
He's always really out of shape and has every purple heart, like 3 purple hearts, and like there's one.
Wait,
movie
he has purple hearts
in his films.
Oh, right. So I was like, wait, this is a new corner of the Neil Breen thing.
He's always a really accomplished hacker and like Navy SEAL and like
women just love
he
him. Sometimes he turns them down. Sometimes he turns down the woman half his age that is throwing herself at him. No, but he's got a new movie, and from what I can surmise from the trailer, one of his previous characters, Cade, comes back, and he gets a hold of an insane asylum. And and what I can surmise is he is training the inmates of the insane asylum to become his personal army to enact, vengeance upon the injustices of the world. And I am so excited to watch it. It's going to be great.
Can I just show this?
I think I could play young Neil Breen. I think we both have the squinty eyes and the nose.
I didn't realize Google like changed up this.
You have life in your eyes, though, Ben.
How old is Neil Breen?
The sparkle of how old is he? He's got to be like 50,
64,
60, maybe. If you could play the.
Now, this is the Universes Beyond tie-in that I think we deserve.
Yeah, this looks Incredible.
Can you
Listen,
play?
poor
Can you
guys.
type in Cade Crossing, CADE Crossing trailer? I could probably find it actually, but you know, Belly has the G and H keys to work with. Which, oh, Tortured Crossing. Sorry, that was I keep. Oh God, it's 4 minutes.
13 views. We can just watch some of it. He has no semblance of trimming down his films at all. Like some of them could be decent if they were a third of the length.
This is the editing and videography auteur coming out here. This is why we had you on the program.
Oh my God.
Yeah, everything's green screen. Oh, Belly, you're not ready.
He makes great use of stock footage.
Can you turn it up a bit? We got to hear his acting. I want you guys to hear how good it is.
We'll never let them down.
He really looks like he's on that stair, you know?
He always says very general things about what's happening.
I'm actually surprised you guys haven't heard of Belly and
We had
Zach.
two more last night.
Tangentially heard of him, but like he's special, man. Like Tommy Wiseau was like one and done before he became self-aware.
Right. I'm gonna
Breen
turn
is
it.
So awesome.
Breen has
Even that's
done
green
like
screen.
5 movies.
Oh my gosh.
Belly, you are not ready. You are not ready. So he's
What's haunting about this is it kind of looks like the meta now for like TikTok, which is all like TikTok and Instagram of all the green, like the phone green screen.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Oh,
like,
interesting. It's maybe he's ahead of his time.
Yeah, it was like prophetic. Like this, I feel like I'm looking at TikTok right now.
Okay, until he touched her, it looked kind of okay.
It looked like a point-and-click adventure game.
I really want to go in and edit his footage to like be a compilation of like times he's like loosely resembling Evangelion, because there's like the Alex Jones explains Evangelion videos where it's just him talking nonsense.
You know, you were talking about how he could make a good movie. You could do what Topher Grace did to the Star Wars prequels and like re-edit them. You could re-edit Breen.
This is wild.
Trafficking that's going on here.
Wait, there's one part I want you guys to see, and it's when they start fighting, because that is a spectacular that I don't think any other movie creator has ever made something this good.
The youths and runaways that are being used for medical testing. We'd like you to keep a lookout for any irregularities that might happen at your lab.
So that's a big thing in his movies. Is like, you know, he takes on the CEO of the bank, not like World Bank, not like the actual bank. He's just CEO
the bank.
Yeah.
And then they all unalive themselves at the end. Like there's that's the conflict.
Whoa.
Here we go, guys. This is what I wanted you guys to see.
This is fascinating.
He like loops people throwing punches and then just kind of loops it as a GIF so that it looks like they're fighting, but they're not. They're just shadow boxing in like groups.
Yeah.
Okay, this looks like me on trial like a couple weeks ago.
Dude, you had better production quality, Zach.
Also, I had my lawyer. He was there with me, Sebastian. He doesn't have a chihuahua. This is a nice shot. I kind of like this.
That's nice, yeah.
He used to have
tasteful.
scenic shots though. Like he used to at least be on site. Like his old movies have really good scenic shots. I'll give him that.
Wow.
A lot of desert stuff.
He's cutting corners now.
He lives in like the Southwest.
Yeah, lives right outside.
He's kind of like refined like the bad parts of his filmmaking into this.
This is incredible.
I think Universes Beyond Neil Breen would go pretty hard.
There's gonna be like, you know, they did like 8. They did like all like 13 doctors or whatever. It's just gonna be all Neil Breen cards. Just various Neil Breen characters, and then the tiger from I think Tortured Crossing. Neil Breen and tiger. But okay, that do we want to get into Universes Beyond? Because I have, you know, actually been researching Magic cards.
there's so much. Okay, there's so much to get into. Before we do, we'll just do the last bit of preamble. This is I Love You Mana. It is a podcast about who the freak knows what. It is.
Say it, Zach. Say it.
Domino's Pizza.
Say it, Zach.
What do we used to call it? We used to call it WeWorks Pizza, right?
Oh yeah.
But today, this is going to be a podcast about hobbies. It's a podcast about friends hanging out. It's a podcast about golf and hot dogs. But today, this is a podcast about Pokemon. It's a podcast about filmographies, and you better bag it. You better
baguette.
Better baguette.
You
You better
better-
be eating a baguette right now.
You better carbo load because we're going to talk about Magic the Gunthering.
Hell yeah, baby.
And we're joined by Ben Easter, who, of course, we've already introed, but, long time coming. And part of the reason that we brought you on this podcast, I mean, you got, like, if there's ever someone who, like, wants to plug stuff, like, Ben, you've got, like, 3 or 4 things cooking right now.
I've been really trying to take some time to work on my bug videos.
Okay, yes. Let's pivot a little bit.
Ooh, Archer. Yeah,
I
I
do
saw.
have
I
some
saw.
collaborations in the cooking with other people, but mostly I've been going through every single bug type Pokemon and trying to find the real life bug that it's either based on explicitly or by conjecture, and then finding scientific information about that bug that's like a little bit more on the niche side, not so much like 10 facts about blah blah blah. If you Google that, that's not what I want. I want like the primary literature,
Okay.
which is so I've found cited literature, cited facts, and then also finding trivia about those Pokemon that like even I didn't know. Like I'm currently working on like a Weedle is coming out on Monday, and I'll give y'all the hookup first. Something I found is in the anime, Giovanni uses a Beedrill. Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket, and it's like his iconic Pokemon. Like his I've had this Pokemon since I was a kid. My first Pokemon was a Weedle, but in no other continuation of this franchise, not the cards, not the manga, not the games, has he ever been depicted using a Beedrill or a Beedrill evolution.
Yeah, he
used to be like ground Pokemon in the original, right? I seem to remember,
yeah.
But didn't he have like the evolution of Meowth? Like,
yeah, in the show he had Persian.
Persian, that's the one.
In the show that was kind of, he was always depicted, like with the Persian. But
and the Mecha Mewtwo, but Beedrill is completely manga.
Wow, that's a crazy Mandela effect. I feel like I can picture the Beedrill Pokemon TCG Giovanni version. Wow. The more you know.
Okay,
this is right up my alley. I'm really interested in this.
Oh well, Tor, let's put one on in case you haven't seen, and for our listeners and for our viewers.
Well, that was my question, because I thought that these were like all teasers for like the big Pokemon video that was coming out, and you're just kind of like chopping them up. But like we're eventually going to get like the 2-hour long Tim Rogers style video essay that just goes super in depth on Pokemon that I just watch when I'm in like some kind of catatonic stupor.
Yeah, so that is part of the distribution, is that what I'm doing is I'm editing every single Pokemon. I've recorded the Kanto and the Johto bugs, and I've written them completely. I'm editing those in like wide and like a YouTube format, and those are all part of one video that I'm working on. And then as I finish each Pokemon, I'm also converting the animations right there into like the real phone format, I like to call it, the 1080 by 1920 format, so that I can distribute it. Because since I have a smaller channel, I think it's better for me to distribute all these shorts and get growth, so that when the video comes out, those shorts work backwards into the video. So eventually the Kanto video will be out, but I'm giving myself enough time to make it even more polished and high quality.
Look at that distribution strategy. I love it. All right.
Be based on a butterfly closely resembling that of cabbage white butterfly.
So the citations are going to be in the full video, but they're not in the short because YouTube acts as shorts that have URLs in the video itself. And that's an important part of citations.
By the larva to safeguard itself at the time of the pupal phase. Puberty, am I right? The cabbage white butterfly.
There are a lot of little visual gags in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of editing you're doing on these, Ben. Also a plug to watch this on YouTube. Oh, next one.
So
Also a plug to follow Pieway on YouTube.
Yeah, go for it. It's spelled like highway, but the first H is a P. And yeah, I'm kind of throwing things at the wall in the process, but that's what's made it really rewarding for me, is that I feel like I'm growing as a video editor.
That's awesome.
I mean, these are really well put together. I have heard of this before. This thing it's so creepy. This like
well, meconium is observed in other organisms too. Like babies have meconium when they're born. But for bugs specifically, since it would just have random blood on a tree, people thought it was a bad omen. Because they're like, how'd that blood get there? Bugs don't have red blood.
So I mean, I'm learning a lot from this. What made you want to like focus on these two things, right? Maybe your like interest in bugs comes from like your your chemistry research, because there's some like crossover. I know my mom did like biochemistry, like genetics with fruit flies, which is a very common research subject. Is that what kind of got you to this? Like, it's just like being a Pokemon fan and like wanting to do some like kind of biology stuff, or where'd you get? How do we come here?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I guess the best answer I can give you is that the convergence of my videography and my science comes from the fact that I'm a chemist for my day job, and I can't say too much about my day job here, but I can say that a big aspect of my day job is making science more accessible to customers. And a big part of my vocational pursuit in life has been using visual imagery and visual representation to make science more accessible, because as an aspirational chemist, I always believed that I couldn't be a qualified and talented chemist because chemistry requires so much visualization on the part of the chemist. There's so many things. I'm sure you remember seeing like drawn out molecules that just were arduous to draw out, and then you had to think about the reaction mechanism in your head, and it's hard. I feel like there's been a lag in how chemistry is taught and how to visually represent chemistry in a way that allows people to think about chemistry.
Actually, you were really hitting on something that I find so, at least in like the Minnesota State school, like college system, the way they teach you chemistry is that they have this thing called Principles of Chemistry, like 1 and 2, and it's 2 semesters, year-long course, and they just throw every little like they throw all the math portion at you. They throw like the formulas that you would
like titration.
And, various
Lewis
like
structures,
or just
balancing equations.
You plug the numbers into the equations like and figure out the answer. Whereas then when you hit organic chemistry, there's still math involved, but it's more like geometry. It's more it's visualizing like a molecule coming into contact with another molecule, and then how when that molecule joins with the molecule, how that like molecule shifts and like
there's so much
space.
It's so much of like drawing tetrahedrons and stuff. I feel like I remember like orgochem just being like trying to draw a bunch of tetrahedrons and like rotate structures in your head, which is sometimes it's hard for people to do. it's fun, but it is just kind of funny that like
How
back
many
when I was
S-Danes
taking,
can you rotate in your head at once, Zach?
I mean, that is kind of a thing. And then like it's just kind of funny that like this a pretty advanced science, right? And in a pretty advanced university, like, you know, the U of M, or, you know, higher, not higher, but like, you know, fancy or pants universities or whatever, you have chemistry professors who are like, my chemistry professor was in like his 80s, right, when he was teaching. I wonder what's he's up to
He's
these
probably
days.
dead.
It's been 10 years.
I mean, even like, sorry, wait, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but it's just like the most advanced stuff. Like you could do like, you know, probably there would be like digital, nowadays people are doing, you know, digital models and stuff, right? But back in my day, you know, we're all just like drawing stuff out on a pad, and, you know, you have the little, you know, electron cloud, and you're like, okay, this, you know, free electron gets kicked over here, and, you know, that's the extent of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, you could buy like physical models to kind of like, you know, screw around with. Like you could get like basically like a Lego set of big. I think I still have mine somewhere.
And, you know, my ass was fidgeting with those, you know, I was just.
But as far as like a reaction mechanism calculator or simulation of reactions is concerned, like it's crazy that like from a consumer level, like outside of having a meaty computer with like a knowledge of chemistry, outside of those applications, it's really hard to have access to like see how chemical reactions work. And it's like easier to see how a Magic the Gathering creature responds to an enchantment entering the board, and how that affects the Magic the Gathering creature. Like, I think that says a lot. And so that's always been my approach and my calling. And also the convergence of cameras and learning cameras and how they work, as well as technology that, in my case, uses cameras for analytical detection, has had convergence for me. So I wanted to find a video project that looped back to that love of communicating. That was something that was completely adjacent to my day job.
Can I ask you a little less technical question? Is it
absolutely?
Do you have like an affinity for bug Pokemon in general? Because I feel like they're kind of an underrated little.
Beedrill was my favorite growing up.
Boy?
That was my boy.
That was your lad.
And the origins of Pokemon is really rooted in the bugs. The origins of Pokemon are that they were trying to recapture the feeling that Junichi Masuda and someone else who originally worked on the game had of going around and exploring to catch beetles, and then trying to make beetles fight each other. So Pokemon was originally a beetle game.
That's I never would have connected like bug fights with Pokemon before, but no, that makes a lot. Like I think, like I'm trying to think back to like first gen, like in terms of like real world iterations, like kind of like 1-to-1 ratio. Like Squirtle is pretty much just a turtle, but like other water Pokemon, you know, like are some other like mythical creatures, or like
turtle with gun.
Turtle with gun.
Turtle with gun is just a classic design. You know, I don't think you could get really better. Also, Yu-Gi-Oh did turtle with gun. A lot of people copied turtle with gun.
Yu-Gi-Oh went to some crazy areas. Every now and again, I see like but I'm just like, there's no way that's a real card. Yeah.
It's real.
There are Yu-Gi-Oh cards with more words than short stories. Like,
and they're so tiny too.
There are Borges short stories that are shorter than the words on a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I'm not even joking.
They like try to like lay out like rules of the game in the card. Like it's like a card. I'll play this card. Okay, now there's a new rule in the game, kind of thing.
Tor, you cut out.
Yeah, you cut out there.
Is there any way? Okay, before when Tor's gonna come back in, can we pull up that first video? that we showed you, the one about the pupa, because that was a fact that I didn't know about. Like, there's a difference between
A pupa
chrysalis
and a chrysalis?
and a chrysalis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say it.
Like-
Say it again.
Yeah. Find the chrysalis. Yeah, so from my understanding, for some insects like moths, a cocoon is formed around the chrysalis, but the butterfly instead leans into trying to be hidden in its environment and does not wrap anything around itself and other than the chrysalis. Because the cocoon is usually made of non-biological material, like string or things found around.
Oh,
I guess that would
really?
be considered biological, since the moth larva would produce that string from itself.
It appears to be based
Let's run it
on
back.
a butterfly chrysalis, closely resembling that of cabbage white butterfly, but it's not a cocoon. While those terms are often used interchangeably, a chrysalis refers to the hard and stiff body of the butterfly pupa. On the other hand, a cocoon is the external structure formed by the larva to safeguard itself at the time of the pupal phase.
This is very
Puberty, am I
visual for
right?
these of you at
Cabbage
home.
white
He does a
butterfly
really
lays
good job of
300 to 400 eggs,
matching that.
and the larval stage is considered to be a voracious pest and can do a lot
I
of harm to
appreciate that.
agriculture.
Yeah, no,
So-
it's really, it really, like, you sync it up really nicely with what you're explaining, and it's
So
very cool.
So the cocoon, right, is a hard casing around the pupa. You know, I find that I don't know. I'm not a
Where's
biological.
he going
expert-
with this?
expert.
Where's he going?
Where's this going?
Zach's
But I thought-
meandering. Come on, bring it home, buddy.
I
Bring
find
it
that
home.
I find that my pupa has a hard shell if I haven't washed
Oh.
in a few days.
I don't know if those are related, Zach.
That was good. Thank you, Zach. Zach, did you play Pokemon?
I played. Okay, I collected Pokemon cards and I played the games. I played the games up until like I think the last ones I played were on the DS, so it might have been Black and White. As the last ones I played.
Those
Okay.
are my favorite.
Those are fun. I don't really remember a ton of them. I have more like attachment to, of course, like Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3. Those are like, you know.
I mean, that's a big chunk of. That's a lot of the gens.
Oh, sure. But like, so is
So you're saying the ones when you were younger, Zach, are the ones you
Yeah.
have the most affinity, the most nostalgia towards?
Well, so Gen 1 is obviously is awesome. And then Gen 2 is just
Gen
like,
2 is my favorite.
Gen 2 is just so generous in that like you can play basically the first game. It gives you the Kanto region.
Well, you beat the Elite Four, and then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
by the way, we're going to just throw the entire Kanto region
Oh,
at
yeah.
you again. And you're just like,
Yeah.
oh,
Remember
fuck
that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That was so cool.
So you said you're through Johto, like in terms of bugs, right? Can I ask, I don't know if you've released the video yet, what are your findings on Shuckle?
Is
So,
Shuckle a bug?
yeah.
Isn't Shuckles like a barnacle?
Shuckle is a bug.
So amongst all of the bugs, amongst all of the bug types, there are bug types that aren't specifically
Oh,
insects.
it's a hybrid. Okay.
Shuckle is an endolith, and an endolith is a fungus that forms exclusively on rocks.
Those are those really, really primordial I know you can find them in like northern Australia and like shallow water, and they're kind of like a rock that like rises above the water, kind of like looks like dirty and maybe I'm thinking of a different thing. Sorry, I'm gonna look up endolith before I talk.
That's probably endolith adjacent. Most endolith categorizations are they're like basically just fuzz on a rock, and then microscopically you can determine that it's getting its nutrients from the rock and chemically. So there's two mollusks, two snails in Gen 5. There's one rock fungus, which is Shuckle. There's a virus in Gen 7. It's that
Whoa.
little like dewpider.
And it's a bug Pokemon?
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of clever. Like, you know, I caught a bug.
Yeah, that is clever. There's Genesect, which is a reanimated fossil robot.
Okay.
There's Shedinja, which is a reanimated insect shell, a ghost of an insect.
Oh, I like that one a lot. I think that's super cool.
I really love Shedinja. To me, like philosophically, because in mythology, cicadas represent rebirth a lot.
Sure.
To me, Shedinja like does a good job of representing, I feel like, our past, like how it still physically manifests itself in some ways, like in our lives, like in the ways we've impacted the world and impacted other people. Just something about like that ghost of the shell that's left behind.
Ghost of the Shell.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. There's also a dinosaur bug Pokemon.
What?
Yeah, the evolution of a Norith. I consider that to be a dinosaur because
Oh, cool.
that's that seems to be what it's drawing inspiration from. And 2 aliens with the Ultra Beasts.
Oh yeah.
Those alien episodes will be really good. All I'm gonna say. Armaldo, yeah, is a little dinosaur.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh sure, that makes sense.
Rock Bug.
I like
This
this
little
guy.
guy.
Look at him. He's sick.
But I went all in on the taxonomy, and that's in the intro of the Kanto video. So that won't be live until the Kanto video is live. But it's my magnum opus of science communication.
Can we reveal when you're projecting the Kanto video for our rabid fans?
I want it to be out by December 1st.
Hell
Is
yeah.
what I'll say.
A month away, boys. Wait, sorry. My mic keeps cutting out, and I started talking, and I keep. Okay, so can I? Anorith is a really interesting one to me because no, really. So like it resembles and I can't remember the name. A Cambrian life form of the sea, like some of the first like predatory animals in the.
Yeah, so we have some of those. I have a spreadsheet with every bug type Pokemon in the taxonomy I've assigned to it. It's very it resembles a trilobite. Anorith, and there are some centipedes, there are some bees, there's some scorpions. Millipedes.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the exact name of.
This is just too much for Tor. It's like he's like in heaven. He's just like he's just processing everything. He's so stimulated.
I remembered what I was thinking of earlier was stromatolites, which is not okay.
I'm gonna keep scrolling because
I fucking found it. Okay, it's like here. Let me
sure.
I'll share really quick.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
Give me 1 sec. Where are you?
Okay. Is there an insect, Ben, that they haven't made as
okay. Here it is, guys.
Good number.
Go ahead.
Sorry, this is what
the stick bug.
Right here.
Unless you consider a praying mantis a stick bug.
Oh, look at that thing. What's it called, Tor?
I cannot pronounce it. Anomalocaris, so kind of like Anorith, but Anomalocaris. It's one of the first proposed like predatory animals. But Anorith actually resembles more a different one that I'm thinking of, a more like a later evolved sea predator that was like.
I think you've got a good. I think it's pretty possible that those are pretty. I think I might have to go back to the drawing board on Anorith. That's pretty Anorith adjacent.
It really resembles like some of the first like invertebrate life in like the Cambrian oceans. That's why I was like really intrigued with Anorith when I saw it. I was like, I've seen that animal before. Sorry, Billy.
Seeing this alien insectoid sparked something that I've been meaning to talk to you. I watched on the plane this past weekend a movie entitled Life.
Oh,
from 2017
with Ryan Reynolds, right? And,
with Ryan Reynolds, your boy Jake Gyllenhaal, Rebecca Ferguson.
She's in that too.
Rebecca Ferguson is in it.
She was great.
This all-star cast, I highly recommend you hate watch it because it's like a sci-fi horror movie, and I won't say anything else. I want you to hate watch it, Tor.
Oh no, I've seen Life, and I
Okay.
love 99%. I love 90% of it because I do.
Oh,
You
yeah,
put an
this
alien
one.
on a spaceship that kills people.
Yeah.
I'm watching it.
It's
I'm watching
microscopic, yeah.
Yeah, especially if it like starts from very base. I will say the twist at the end is one of the worst executed twists I've ever seen.
I actually
film.
didn't get to the twist.
They turned
you
the
did?
I need to finish
100%
it.
profits, so
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, Belly, the way you watched it, if you didn't get to the end, you probably saw the best version of it.
Okay, excellent. That's good to know.
It's a frustrating twist where you see it coming from a mile out, and you're like, they're not actually going to do this. Are they really going to do this? And then they do it, and you're like, oh, for God's sake.
So what's the twist?
All right, so
is
spoiler,
anyone here
everyone, close your ears for a minute if you're listening
You're
at
gonna
home and you want to
watch
see
the 2017 movie Life.
the
Oh yeah,
Jake
Belly
Gyllenhaal master. I'll watch anything with Jake Gyllenhaal in it too. I love that guy. But basically, at the end of the movie, I might be butchering this because I haven't seen it for a while, but basically, there's 2 escape pods. Rebecca Ferguson gets in one. Jake Gyllenhaal heroically sacrifices himself to trap the alien in the pod with him and launch himself ostensibly into the void, whereas Rebecca Ferguson gets shot back into Earth. And you're like, but it's wait a sec. You realize that Rebecca Ferguson is actually the one that gets shot into space, and Jake Gyllenhaal is the one that gets shot back to Earth. And the movie just ends with them opening the pod, and Gyllenhaal's all aliened out. He's like,
like, shit! Wait, I love that ending. That's metal.
It's so broadcast. It's
yeah.
It's so broad. Like if you've ever seen Alien Covenant, I want to say.
Yeah, it seems like this is
it because he's like he's self
yes, Zach, it is,
or like how is it broadcasted that
I'm trying to remember exact was
it incompetence or
no, it wasn't, it was like heroic.
Let me put it this way,
but I remember the scene going on a little too long. I was just like something, I'm trying again, it's been a while. I just remember being angry, like I'm like, Gyllenhaal's is the pod that's going back to Earth, and I was like, it's like, no way, are they actually, is that, I don't remember how they broadcasted it, but it was a really badly executed twist. It was kind of,
let me put it another way, it is like incredibly derivative and of Alien and the Alien franchise, so it's like it's kind of a hard needle to thread of like being new in the space of like an alien life form attack, like horror film in space. And so maybe that was Tor just picking up on.
Yeah,
I feel like maybe if they were a little more brutal with it, I don't know. Like I'd have to like watch it again, I guess, to really get the gist of what made me upset. I just remember at the end of the movie, it was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And I like a downer ending. I can do a dour, kind of downer ending.
Yeah.
But there was something
dramatic
about
irony when it's done well is great, but not when it's a slap in the face to the time that you've spent watching the film.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a Gyllenhaal fanboy and I didn't want his heroic sacrifice to go.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't realize the depths of your Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I love this.
To get back together at the end.
What'd you say, Ben?
You wanted him to like go off into space and the alien to turn into Heath Ledger.
Yeah, no. eventually like evolves into like a cohabitate. It's like they just have a life together in this escape pod. Heath Ledger's like, I can feed you. My body has evolved to produce.
Gyllenhaal survived in Brokeback Mountain, and this is his coma dream.
I like it. This is good. No, I was just Kurt Russell will always be my favorite actor, but I think right now the actor that I most enjoy watching is Gyllenhaal. I think he's really underrated in what he can do, what he can bring to the table. But that's just an aside. Is there a Gyllenhaal Pokemon?
Probably give it a few more
Jigglypuff.
years,
Give it a few-
and then yeah. I mean, there's a Trump otter Pokemon. 1,000%.
Oh yeah, that's right.
1,000%.
Did they really make is Trump the first?
Is
Is
Oshawott
the
Trump?
first
What do you
human
mean?
analog for Pokemon?
Yeah, it's yeah. I'll pull it up.
I
There's
can't
no way you can tell me. Tori, didn't you play Sun and Moon? It
I
was in
did.
Sun
I'm
and it
trying to
was
remember.
Alola.
It was okay. So
Not
was it
Oshawott.
one of
All right, I'm
Was it,
pulling it. Wait.
was it one of like the Alolan forms of like a different Pokemon? Like
Not
like a-
Weasel.
Give me 1 sec.
one
Here we
sec.
go.
Yeah,
All right,
so
I pulled it up.
I think Alola was the last Pokemon game I really dug into. I played through about half of Sword and Shield, and I probably should finish it. I think I just got distracted by like FIFA. I got really I had to stop playing FIFA because it like
mean-
sorry, what was it?
If I can be frank with Pokemon, just at a certain point they realized they could just mail it in and still print money, and from then the series just died. Like, at least
Yeah,
for me, like I played Scarlet and Violet, but I think post X and Y, I just have a hard time with it. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, that does look like a business mogul Pokemon.
What year did Sun and Moon come out? Like 2016 post? Because
No, it was definitely in development before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Around that time, though, I think.
Yeah, I think it was late 2016 or because yeah.
So definitely like the lead up. I think they probably like campaign. Well, the campaign was for president was like 2014 even. I feel like well maybe 2015.
that
I'm
would-
sure
yeah,
they
it's
just wanted
possible.
to do a capitalist that wasn't a pig.
And then Gumshoes is a name. It's like, well, Gumshoe is a detective.
like a reporter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. So like,
Gumshoes is pretty scrafty adjacent, like that one that has its hands in
Oh,
its
the
pockets.
dark fighting Pokemon with
Yeah.
like he pulls up his pants or whatever. I always had trouble with that guy. That guy has like it's tough to
Has good resistance.
yeah,
Also,
good resistance.
Ben,
I remember.
I want to circle back to what you said. I'm actually kind of shocked to hear that you're. I mean, I think I'm also down on current Pokemon, but could you reiterate how you feel
Yeah.
again? Like, I'm actually shocked by that because you do a lot of Pokemon content.
Yeah, I just feel like your money and your time was respected well in Pokemon from the first games to Pokemon Black and White.
Wow.
And Black and White 2. Throughout that, I think the main releases were of very high quality, and probably because they couldn't just release DLC or patch it. But
No love for the 3DS games.
I mean, there's a part of me that loves them, but they're not. Their quality control and the amount of things they put in the game just really started to decline. It didn't scale
Sure.
well with the advancements in technology, is what I'll say.
Mm.
I remember Black and White. I being like really impressed with like they kind of tried to do a unique story,
Mhm.
where you kind of the bad guy or whatever was like a sympathetic, like
Mhm.
he wanted to like free Pokemon from being kind of like slaves or whatever.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I found him like really sympathetic. It was like I remember that it's like I remember playing through it and being like, they're really trying with this story, and I haven't really felt that since Black and White. But
Mhm.
it could just be they're just out of stories to tell. I guess I did appreciate what they did with Sun and Moon. Like there was like kind of a different gym structure.
yeah. I
kind of a
thought people
different-
liked that one.
it was
Sun
good.
and Moon.
Their
I'll
route
use this
sucked.
as an opportunity to inject kind of a thesis or observation. They like being born and raised in Hawaii. Sun and Moon hit really different
Mhm.
because obviously, like Sun and Moon is based in Hawaii, basically the Hawaiian Islands,
Yeah.
but it's like through the lens of Japanese tourism
Sure.
and how they consume Hawaiian culture. Absolutely. Like the towns were all like basically like Waikiki and like the resort towns of Hawaii.
Mhm.
Yeah.
like that's kind of what they showed. Yeah, I mean, you could go pretty deep. You could write a thesis on like this, like the motifs that the game rips from actual cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And
did-
they,
yeah.
Mhm.
I did
Do you
like the
feel like-
subplot that the antagonists were scientists, like going into the natural resources of the area.
Mhm, mhm.
But I do agree with what you
And
said.
they like what is Scarlet and Violet, like where is that like they hop region to region. That's one of the
Mexico, or like, you know, Mesoamerica. Not
Mesoamerica,
that's
Spain.
and Sword and Shield was like
English,
it was like
British
England.
Isles. Yeah, it was British Isles.
Yeah,
They
So,
also had
like-
like a French one that was
yeah. X
That
and
was
Y.
X and Y.
Nova, I think. Yeah.
No, Unova was America.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Unova
really?
was New York.
Is Unova, is that black and white?
Yeah.
Okay.
X and Y were France. The Calais.
Yeah, I remember the France one being very explicit. Like there's like an Eiffel Tower. And
The
something like that.
Coliseum was Arizona.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's based on predominantly Native American and Phoenix architecture in Arizona.
Wait, Coliseum, like the N64
Like
game?
the GameCube.
No,
Oh,
that's
game.
that's Stadium. Coliseum
Oh,
was the
okay.
GameCube. Coliseum and XD were based on GameCube.
I
So-
had Stadium. I never played Coliseum.
Wait, is
Interesting.
Coliseum and Stadium was one on 64?
Stadium was.
Okay.
Coliseum and XD came out on the GameCube,
Gotcha.
and they were based in the Ore region.
So, okay. Do you feel like I want to get I kind of want to drill in a little bit deeper into what Belly's talking about, because do you feel like Pokemon was it Aloha? What was it called?
Alola.
That was
It
Alola.
was Alola,
That was
the
the
Alolan region.
Sun and Moon, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that they did a better job of depicting like their chosen culture because they leaned into it, let's say maybe harder than some of the other Pokemons lead into their sort of adopted culture? Or do you think that it is more appropriative what they've done for Sun and Moon compared to, say, Sword and Shield, where they're using a Western or European setting?
It's a great question.
Is this for Ben or for me?
I think it was for
I-
Belly.
I think it's
It's
for
for
you,
both of
but,
us?
but I want you guys both to comment.
Well,
My-
none
my
of us
initial-
lived in England, so yeah, maybe.
My
Yeah,
initial-
but like the English, we can badmouth the English if we want to. No one's they're like the Italians.
It just hit different Sun and Moon because I grew up in Hawaii and like
Right.
always had kind of that lens of like, you know, the local versus tourist experience. And so seeing the whole game kind of premised on that.
Yeah.
So I can't speak to, you know, I didn't grow up in England or France or Arizona.
As an outsider that only dabbles in media depictions of Hawaii, I've never been to Hawaii. I feel like I'm thinking of Surf's Up a lot because Surf's Up, the film, was unapologetically like set in a tourist destination and focused around surfing, like in that tourist destination. And I feel like a problem I see with Alola is that it's non-referential about what it's depicting, and because of that it becomes a blanket depiction, and through that, by leaving out certain parts of Hawaii and the source area, it's very reductionist.
Yeah, it's sort of it's demonstrated through the lens of a tourist visiting Hawaii, as opposed to like, like
Yes.
Belly said, like that there's a culture in Hawaii that's not just, you know, hula in Hawaiian shirts, you know.
Yeah, or hula at a resort, you know, at a all-you-can-eat buffet. You know, it's
Yeah,
like there's
yeah.
actual
Yeah.
hula that had cultural meaning and significance.
Yeah,
that
but
was
with that-
for other, you know,
With that said, Pokemon Black and White did not feel very American, despite the fact that it was
Yeah.
based in America. Like the Ferris
Yeah,
wheel in the middle of the town, like
that's Britain. That's London, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't remember Surf's Up. I'm kind of curious what Surf's Up. Can I shout out another? There's a underrated movie called A Perfect Getaway, and it takes place. It's like tourists in Hawaii, but like it's a horror movie.
This
it's
is
a horror movie.
Unreal Letterboxd. Neil, who's the
Neil
first
Breen,
guy? Neil
Surf's
Breen.
Up.
Neil Breen,
Life Surf's Up.
Life.
Okay, I got to share this to, but it's I'm a Steve Zahn kind of aficionado, but I thought it's Timothy Oliphant, Steve Zahn, I think Chris Hemsworth too in it, and it's a really good psychological thriller, like and it's all amidst the like this beautiful, like, you know, backcountry Hawaii, like it all takes place on kind of like a hike, and it's very, very underrated, I feel like. Like you just I don't want to give away too much about it, but I think I think I want Belly to watch it more than anything, because I want to hear his like take on how they depicted like Hawaii in it and stuff.
Yeah,
I found it's kind of like the Midsummer thing, where like it's shot all in daylight, but it's actually, you know, like horrifying things are happening, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I love that juxtaposition of like beauty.
I have one other tangent. I'm trying to weave this in. So speaking of different cultures and authentically portraying them, we have a new voicemail from some of a fan base that I've talked about before. So I'm really excited that they finally called in. So
it's a fan from Ireland. Every week I kiss my true stones as though they're blarney stones, wishing for a new episode of the podcast. I tell all my friends down at the pub about the show too. I bring my favourite deck. It's coin flips and triple modal instant spells. Aye, it's me lucky charms deck. So for my country...
Wait, it cut out.
Sorry, my hand slipped. Sorry.
I just realized now we need to
back it up.
And your libraries never empty.
We need
to get it back up. Also, there was a little bit of Sasquatch coming in at the end.
We need
the way he had
Ireland Pokemon game. We need a leprechaun Pokemon as well.
We do need an Ireland Pokemon game. That would be sick. It would be like
the Troubles.
You know, they would weave in like IRA stuff. Like that's like Team Rocket.
That's Team Rocket.
Yeah.
There's a Pokemon. Well, they do have a car Pokemon now. there should be that car Pokemon they just introduced in the new one. Pokemon, and they have one of those like Zangoose Seviper rivalries.
So to our Irish fans, thank you for finally calling in and revealing yourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's nice.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, we didn't mean to, dismiss your culture. We're very happy to have you, Ireland listeners.
Okay.
Every time we bring it up, I end up saying something awful about the Irish. Every time Belly's like, "Oh, we have a listener in like Moldova," and I'm like, "Really? This Transnistrian bastards?"
So okay. Okay, here's another question about Pokemon. So, do you feel like, as you said, I think your sentiments of people being a little frustrated with the progression of the Pokemon games is very popular. I think a lot of people agree with you. But I would imagine that there's like one team that's like making the games, and there's another team that's like designing the Pokemon, right? Like it's sort of probably different arms of the company, right? Do you think that the Pokemon designs have like kept up and have been successful, and it's just like the quality of the games that haven't matched? Or do you think that like Pokemon with like 1,000 Pokemon in or whatever is starting to like, scrape the bottom of the barrel?
I think the Pokemon designs have been great. Here and there's been some questionable ones, but they repeatedly grow on me.
I agree with Ben on that. Like they'll bring out some of, like, I think in the Sun and Moon they introduced Mimikyu, which I thought was one of the I thought it was inspired. Like I loved that Pokemon's design. I thought it was fantastic.
Is that the one that looks like a little puppet? Or
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like a
it's a little
little
paper
Oh
bag.
yeah.
Pikachu.
wearing a bag.
That's
But
such a good Pokemon.
It's really just a scaling of the game development problem, and no matter how far ahead technology moves, they just won't scale up the teams to match the demands of the consoles. So it really it feels like you're jumping from Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 2 rather than from Dark Souls to Elden Ring, which I guess is a bad example, but Dark Souls 2 is infamous for being almost a step backwards in
I
quality.
liked Dark Souls too, but I understand its criticisms. I understand that it was not. It was I don't know. It was I will say, like, they do seem to be attempting to, I don't know if modernize is the right word, but like, it why can't I think of the fucking, they're trying to like improve the gameplay a little bit, or like at least bring it into the, at least because they kind of did like an open world, well, that's not the right word, more of like you know what I'm saying,
they get a pass
with
on Arceus because they tried something new.
Yeah, they did try something new in
Yes.
this latest generation.
And I've streamed Arceus recently, and I've been playing Arceus, and it's such a breath of fresh air. I'm absolutely loving that game.
Is that the one that's like, people kind of describe it as like more of like the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon?
Yeah.
They clearly drew influence from the
You can't do Wi-Fi battles on it. Like it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's the thing, is like, if you imagine being like a Zelda fan, right? And like the level of quality going from like Zelda Skyward Sword, right, to Breath of the Wild, it really is like something.
It's pretty crazy.
I think Zelda did stagnate there for a while though. Like from like
oh,
from,
for sure.
from Wind Waker, after Wind Waker to like
Oh,
to
the
Breath of the
GameCube and the Wii didn't give them a lot to work with. I'll give them that.
Twilight Princess is just kind of like, okay. Twilight Princess in particular feels like it's a, it's a reaction to Wind Waker. It's like, trying to people what they think that they want, which is,
It's kind of like Halo 5, where they developed a game from the ground up where the vision was meeting what fans want and not having confidence in a like creative and inventive direction.
Yeah, so you're kind of like developing a little bit scared of criticism. It's a tough place to be in. No, this guy's like an engine. What is this guy?
Faroom, yeah.
That was the car bomb Pokemon I was talking about.
Yeah,
that's so sick.
Self-destruct.
Does it?
They have a rivalry.
I don't know if
with
this has
Voltorb.
I'm on the official Pokédex.
So is it a car or is it just an engine? It kind of looks just like an engine.
It's definitely a car because it's a poison
engine,
steel.
Yeah, it's a car.
Okay, and that was like just a little motorcycle guy. There's an earthworm.
Go up to the worm. I love that worm.
Yeah, I mean that's my girl. If my girlfriend were a Pokemon, it would be that one.
How dare you, Zach?
Her. Yeah, so with a worm on the screen, there are some bug type Pokemon inspired by bugs that aren't bug type. They're getting their own video in my.
Oh hell yeah!
Okay, cool.
Steel.
Lamora is a great Pokemon. I love that design. I like high defense Pokemon.
The Dunsparce.
Ooh, what? I didn't know about this.
They gave him an evolution.
Oh, congrats, Ben and Pieway.
Yeah.
I know one of your favorite Pokemon is Dunsparce and Talking Points.
Dunsparce is my favorite Pokemon because it's so sorry, I'm thinking of the word like unapologetically mid. Like it's not it's good at doing things but not enough to be like viable in any capacity. Like it's good at paralyzing and it's good at flinching if it goes first, but it's very slow. And to me, that adds to the world building of Pokemon because it implies that some Pokemon exist not just to be viable in Pokemon fighting. And for that reason, I love Dunsparce. And also, the
Wow.
design is just so goofy and fun.
Screamtail? Did they give Jigglypuff a evolution?
These
Yes.
are like
So this newest one, they did this weird thing where there was like they did like primordial versions of
And
of
future
Pokemon. So-
versions.
yeah, so like one
Oh.
was the past and one version was the future.
wow. It's
So,
like
like, one-
plane shift.
Basically,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, so Fluttermane is crazy, and Iron Bundle, they're crazy Pokemon. They're banned in OU.
Yeah, Ghost
Did
Fairy.
Annihilate
That's
Is
crazy.
OU like the competitive Pokemon scene?
Yeah, OU is like the modern of Pokemon, and Ubers is like the legacy or vintage of Pokemon.
Oh.
Smoggin. Look it up, Zach.
Yeah, come on.
Well, this is the thing is I do know that there are a lot of there's a lot of overlap between like Magic players and Pokemon fans. Of course, it's any kind of fandom, but I just know a lot of Pokemon a lot of Magic
Okay,
players that have extreme opinions about Pokemon.
What do we think about this? I'm
What?
sorry.
Well, yeah, when Gimmighoul can be found not in a chest and also in a chest. I think it's
Okay.
fun.
Okay.
For the 1000th Pokemon, it's just a cinnamon
Oh,
man.
I guess this is
Made of
technically
gold.
1,000.
So
Yep.
this is what that other Pokemon evolves into.
Yeah, if you have to collect 1,000 coins to.
Oh,
to
it's
evolve it
literally a
once.
stack of coins.
Yeah.
This looks like a Bob's Burgers character. It has like the shape of.
And it's got
Bob's
a
Burgers.
belt.
Oh,
This is
you're right. You've cut out Tor. I think it's a funny Pokemon. I feel like when you have the cultural impact of Pokemon, you get to have one that's like, look at all the money we've made.
I didn't even think about it from that angle.
That's awesome.
Oh,
I will-
some of these are cool.
One thing
It-
that made me upset about this newest design is that I think it's the Coreldion or Coradion,
Yeah.
that one right there. If you click on it, he's like a bicycle, but he
Yes.
runs on his legs. He doesn't use the bike tire
Because he hasn't
That
evolved.
frustrated me.
He hasn't evolved to use that structure yet.
Oh, shit!
Oh,
you
he's
know,
going to, in
fucking
his
A,
future. His
that actually
future
makes
evolution-
sense.
Yeah.
That
Because
fucking
his
makes
future
sense.
evolution
I'm
is Miraidon, and his current version is Cyclizar, which is just an overworld Pokemon you can catch.
That's insane. I didn't
Wow.
even think about that. That actually makes so much sense, and now I feel
Oh,
foolish.
you passed it.
Yeah, Cyclizon? Is that the one?
Cyclizar right there.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, okay.
So that one does a mixture of the two.
That is, I am dumbfounded right now.
Can you make
So-
like a
Can you ride this
like a
guy on bike?
manosphere
God.
TikTok of Tor getting owned?
Yeah.
Like Millennial
Get
gets owned by
owned.
Poke. I know.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm willing to. I fully admit I am wrong. That is actually a pretty genius concept. I was blinded by rage.
Hey, the marketing should have made you intuit that. It's you're good. They even got a
Whoa.
dung beetle. Like, look, there's a freaking dung beetle.
Sorry.
Oh right,
I-
they have the shit Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Except
What-
its shiny form rolls a golden ball.
That's
Ooh.
awesome.
It's
See,
a
this
golden
is
goose
the kind of thing.
parable.
This is
Yeah.
the kind of thing where like these designs are super clever. It's really fun to see like remixed Pokemon, these kind of future Pokemon, or the variations of different regions. Those are always fun. Like I think, obviously Pokemon cares a lot about these designs, right? And they want them to be really evocative and good. So that's where they're putting their creative output. And then when it comes to designing,
The
games for
functional
them. But I guess for you and for your series, and also if you're just collecting the cards and you like the art, that stuff's remains pretty high quality.
Yeah, I'll give them that. They've got over 1,000 little Mickey Mouse adjacent brand symbols, and they're
Yeah,
good
dude.
at it.
Is there a bug Pokemon, like a bug in real life, that does not have a Pokemon yet that you would like to
Ooh.
see as a
There are-
Pokemon?
There are many real life bugs that are not yet Pokemon. One that I
What?
really like is the carnivorous caterpillar.
I was just
which
about. I saw you
found.
post about that last night. I was like, I
Yeah.
love that guy.
It's scary, and it grows into a moth, but it resembles a plant and grabs flies and eats them, and it's a caterpillar.
Yeah, you got to
We
see the
usually think
ambush
about the
style
other
this
way
thing does.
around. Yeah, can someone pull it up?
I'm already.
Jamie, pull that shit up.
I think stick bugs are really fun, and unless you count the praying mantis line, the scyther line to be stick bugs, I'd like to
There's
see
no
a
stick
Pokemon
bug
that's a stick
Pokemon?
bug. Not yet.
That seems like a slam dunk, because you can just make it bug grass type.
Yeah,
A
I
little
mean
stick bug.
there's a leaf bug, a walking leaf, which I guess is stick bug adjacent because that's just added foliage to a stick bug.
Sure.
But what else? A tick would be cool.
Ooh.
Ooh.
What about?
I don't think there's a mosquito.
That is
The
like
Minnesota
gotta-
That is
bird.
weird. There's no mosquitoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a
maybe-
tardigrade?
Not that I know of. No woolly
Not that
bears,
that's a
no
bug,
water
but-
bears.
Or
yeah.
is it a bug? I don't know.
I think it's
Well,
an
microbes
arthropod.
are awesome, and it'd be cool to see more of them as Pokemon.
It's definitely a multicellular invertebrate. I don't know if it's specifically a bug, like because I think it
Yeah,
has,
it'd be
like,
sick
8
if they
limbs or
revealed
something like
that, like in the stomachs of all the Pokemon are like thousands of new microscopic Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like
Look at this
Pokemon
caterpillar.
fauna.
It just
They
hangs
do-
out like this.
They
Just
do have
hanging.
they kind of did like a cellular, like a
Whoa.
eukaryotic
It's like an
cell
inchworm.
Pokemon.
Yeah, Scoliosis and that line. I really love that line.
That's
Probably,
horrifying.
Yeah, what we're looking at here, this is freaky deaky.
Yeah, you guys got to watch how this ambush works, though. It's so cool. They're crazy.
So, but this is the thing about Pokemon, right? Is that, like, you know, there are a lot of people who, if you like showed them like the footage of these kind of creepy crawlies in real life, they'd be like, ugh. But like the Pokemon designs are so evocative, and like not only that they're like just like evocative, part of the appeal is that it's just like all these different like creatures from real life reinterpreted and given this kind of, you know, skin as a Pokemon. And we just, I don't know, there's something I think just very successful of being like, oh, I love seeing this weird little dude as a fun little guy I can catch.
Yeah.
Wasn't,
or have a
um,
plushie of.
We
I'm
see
now-
a lot
now
of
I'm
that
thinking-
in Magic too.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of gross little guys in Magic.
I'm thinking about the Alola. I think there was a mosquito Pokemon in there. Wasn't one of like the weird alternate dimension Pokemon a
Oh,
mosquito?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Alola?
Yeah, I
It's-
guess that does count, but it's buff and stands on 4 legs. But it
Right,
does have
right.
a-
That's yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like a,
But you see it grab that
Buzzwole.
hold on.
fly,
hold on, let's replay that. I gotta find the tab. Where are you?
and then it just
Ooh, he's
eats
just
it.
eating it. It's eating its ass.
This is raw dog.
Yeah, and a lot of them are green, so they mix
Wham!
it with the stick. Yeah,
That ambush mechanism is so crazy. It's just
Aaron
like-
would love that. That's an awesome grab. That's like, you know, AEW wrestling right there.
You want to know,
And then
being a bug
hits
is
it with
like
his
being
chair.
in the alien universe. Like you just you are danger
running
from
in-
everything.
yep. You eat some things, and some things eat you, and you find out when you
That's
find
it.
out what that thing is.
It really is. All right. So we are at like, you know, an
We've
hour
blown
and
past
15.
our usual time window.
Do we want to
we
talk about so much fun?
stuff, or do we want to end with
Yeah.
Pokemon?
This is a Magic podcast. Let's talk about Magic.
Yeah,
let's
let's
do
do
a
it.
little
Okay, sure.
magic.
Let's push through.
All right. Yeah,
Well,
I
okay.
am game.
So, okay, what kind of Magic stuff do you?
Well, okay, I'll
Zachy.
start. I'll
Zach, you
start.
won
I
a
have some-
Mox.
Oh, okay, yeah, there's that.
Zach- Detected
Well, okay.
one of
So
the Power 9.
I that is true. Okay, so I will say, if you haven't been following, I went to Magic Summit this past weekend, which was in Utah, which was the same tournament that friend of the show, Greg Michael, he won the Black Lotus last year. This year they weren't giving out Black Lotus, but the top 4 competitors each got a Mox, and so I was one of those top 4. So I did win a Mox Jet, baby. And Greg did very well too.
Huge.
He also got he got 6th, so he just outside of the Mox range, which is, you know, that's tough, but you know, he has a Black Lotus, so I think he'll survive. And if you want to hear like the whole like tournament report thing, they'll probably be done by the time that this podcast goes live, but I am going on Andrew and Greg's stream, System Magic. That's actually, as we're recording this, it's going to be tonight. And we're going to do a whole tournament report, and we're going to talk about Wilds of Little Drain Limited and all that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll like link the VOD or something. So like I'll go into all the nerdy detail. But other than that, it was a really fun trip, and it was a really fun tournament. And hey, I can't complain, right?
Yeah. Are you excited for the new set?
Ooh, okay. The new set is like, okay. I thought Wilds of Eldraine was kind of complicated, right? Like there's like 6 roll tokens and like all that stuff, and then this new set, right? It's got Descend, it's got New Cascade, it's got Crafting With as a mechanic, which is pretty, I know it's kind of clunky when you read it, but maybe it's gonna like work out when you play it. So like this set is very kooky.
So is it going to be like a gold token and then you craft a sword out of it or something like that?
Yeah, kinda. I think probably we're gonna do, you know, a more longer, in-depth set review, or like, you know, our impressions of the set type episode. But okay, so there's a mechanic in the set called Craft, where it's like it's an artifact usually that it enters the battlefield, it does something, but then it stays on the battlefield, and then later you craft with it, and either like, yeah, it's a permanent on the battlefield, and then you like exile permanents either from your current board, your battlefield, or your graveyard. So you can choose which one, and then once you do that and you pay the cost, you transform, like you flip the card, and then it has something else on the backside, which is usually like, it could be a creature, it could be a land, it could be an artifact, something like that. So it's like a transforming double face card, except that you have to spend really weird like resources on it. And then also you're exiling stuff from your graveyard, and the set cares about how much stuff you have in your graveyard, because there's this whole Descend mechanic, which is like threshold. So now you have this tension between the two.
And they power crept Goyf.
Like, wait, okay. Did they power creep Goyf? I don't actually think they power crept Goyf.
Isn't it the number of? Oh yeah, it's the number of permanents that are in all graveyards or your graveyard.
It's your graveyard. Okay, so we're
permanents, like
I guess
permanent types.
No, so okay, we're talking about
permanents.
We're talking about, I think it's called Lost Souls or Forgotten Souls or something like that. It's a black 2-drop if you want to pull this shit up. But honestly, I think that card is kind of bad in 2023 Magic.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Okay, so
you want that?
Well, I guess, yeah, the great thing about Goyf is that it grew from fetches and that it grew from instants and sorceries. So that aspect is lost on this.
And like this only grows from your stuff. I think it doesn't count your opponent's stuff.
Yeah,
which is a problem.
Goyf counts all yards, right?
Souls of the Lost here. And let me see if I can pull this up. We can look at this card, and then I kind of want to, you know, more than talk about Lost Caverns, I want to talk about, like, you know, if we were going to do like a Pokemon, like, do you think there'll ever be a Pokemon Secret Lair? Like, now that there's going to be Marvel universes beyond Pokemon, I mean, I think that's like only a matter of time.
I think there ought to be. Wizards of the Coast used to make the Pokemon trading card game up until the 3rd generation. But I don't, because of how much they compete, I don't think it'll ever happen.
Who makes it now? Is it just a Japanese company?
Maybe a Yu-Gi-Oh crossover kind of
Um,
in that same universes.
Yeah,
something
it's
like
a
that.
subsidiary of the Pokemon company that makes it.
Gotcha. So yeah, this is the power prep Goi for whatever. So it only counts the number of permanents in your graveyard, and you also have to discard a card or sacrifice a permanent in order to cast it just once, which I guess is good because like you can get something in a land, you can sacrifice a land to do this. But like also the problem, and well, that might be good because then you can like discard something you want to reanimate later, right? You can discard Atraxa and then you get to play Atraxa later. But I think this is just going to be not big enough, I think, to be impactful in like I think any format other than limited. But I don't know.
I'd love to have it see play in Dredge since it gets you that discard.
I was thinking about like dredging that. There's definitely room for this to be a really good card attack.
But in post-modern Horizons Modern, I don't think that's fast enough.
Yeah. So like I mean, Dredge is basically banned out of Modern, but you could play something that you could play in Legacy. Can you?
Too slow, but you could.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that's Soul the Lost. It is kind of interesting. I think probably I am definitely not a Modern or Legacy gamer, so I don't know really how those things are going to work. Although I might need to learn Modern because
you got some gamings with my buddy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, what's your buddy's name?
Will.
Will. Well, okay, I only met Will once, but
at an event with free beer.
At an event with free beer, it was pretty fun. But Will came and he brought 2 Modern decks. He brought Scam and Hammer Time, and he was like, "Does anyone want to play Modern?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just kind of like emceeing. I would play, but I don't know anything about Modern. I've never played a game of Modern." And he was just like, I'll show you how it works. And so I played my first ever match of Modern at this casual EDH event.
Wow.
in the sidelines. And it was super fun.
You won, didn't you?
I did win, although to be fair, Will was talking me through everything.
Like Mulligan.
Yeah.
What a guy. What a fella.
I mean, Hammer Time is not the easiest thing to play, right? Because you have your Inkmoth Nexus, and then you have Sigarda's Aid, and you need to do things in the right order. And I needed to he was playing Scam, so he a Scam evoked Fury out on turn 1, and it's just hitting me for 8 damage each turn. And so I have to figure out how to chump block, but then also set up a window in which I could potentially Inkmoth for 10 infect. It's a cool.
Modern is very fun, and I wish they'd stop injecting high power cards into it through supplementary sets.
So okay,
talking about Modern Horizon sets.
I liked the first one, but the second one just completely changed the identity of the format so much that
they put a bunch of those 0 cost cards, those cards that you can exile a card.
Yeah, the evoke elementals. They're basically the most powerful thing that's going on, unless you're I guess playing Tron, but
aside from Hogak, I felt like Modern Horizons 1 was a lot of remixes of pre-existing Modern archetypes and cards. So for that reason, I didn't mind it. It didn't really push things out of the format. The most, other than Hogak, the most impactful things there are
Ren
Force
6.
of Negation and Ren and 6. But Modern Horizons 2 is just
it's one of those things where they
they
had success with Modern Horizons 1. They're like, well, obviously they just want more of the good things. So instead of like you said, just kind of remixing our already playstyles, let's just let's just go crazy with it. Like, obviously, let's crank this up to 100 and fucking go
And it's
crazy.
a lot of things that are good in a vacuum. It's not like things that build on pre-existing archetypes
Sure.
or archetypes that need help.
Yeah, I mean that's just true. The evoke elementals are super good, and Cascade was probably, I think it was a good deck before. I mean, I guess the Cascade, like Rhinos, that's a Modern Horizon 1 card, right?
Yeah.
So like that like made that deck like a thing after Horizons 1, but like now things have been
still saw pretty fringe play. It's just that combo is so much more favored now because you can't really, with the evoke elementals, you can't really play as aggressive anymore.
Oh sure.
Your 8 whack is blown out by a 0 cost Fury. Like
Fury is a problem, but even and now, if that weren't enough, like if you're playing 1 toughness creatures, there's Orcish Bowmasters, which just closes you further. To the point that like no one, you can't play Land of War Elves in Modern, but like, whatever. This is not a lot of Modern podcast. I have to try to learn a little bit of Modern if I'm going to go to this tournament in January, and there will be no bemoaning the state of Modern. You just have to learn it. It is what it is. And then if you don't like it, well, there's going to be Modern Horizons 3 in like a year and change, and everything will be different.
Yeah. Yeah, the first thing they showed off for Modern Horizons 3 was Eldrazi, so it's going to be Powercraft.
Oh yeah, but that's your favorite creature type, right?
It is my favorite creature type. I do love, from an art direction, I really love the Eldrazi.
And they're kind of creepy, crawly little guys as well.
Yeah,
they're not little, Zach.
They're like alien. They're like alien and cosmic horror insects.
Yeah, very Lovecraftian.
Yeah,
kind of thing. I will. If we would, can I just get this little spiel out of the way on these?
Yes, we need emotional intelligence. Let Tor go off.
Yeah,
please.
I don't. So I can you bring up what I'm sharing? Real quick.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Okay, folks, we're looking at the Universes Beyond for Fallout.
The Fallout.
I'm
cards,
really concerned with the direction that Universes Beyond is heading, because what was the first Universes Beyond? Was it D&D?
No,
it was the secret layer for Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean a non-secret layer Universes Beyond.
Oh,
where it was like kind of
Warhammer 40K and D&D.
I think it,
yeah.
But the D&D wasn't Universes Beyond. It was
specifically. Oh, it wasn't Universes
Beyond. It was just a supplemental.
Yeah,
that's weird.
If you look at the D&D cards, they don't have the Universes Beyond frame.
Yeah.
So the only 2 Universes Beyond are the 40K and this Fallout set that they're
and Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Lord of the Rings. That's right.
And then Doctor Who, and then Stranger Things was probably the first secret layer after Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, just like from there, this is, I mean, obviously the only reason like any brands would combine IPs is for marketing reasons. But it's really it's becoming kind of a mess. Like I think 40K was a serious mess. Like they're at first I was thinking they were doing like the 13th
shots fired.
I think they were doing like the 13th Black Crusade at first, but no, they weren't. It was just kind of like this hodgepodge of like, I mean, they didn't even have orcs as like a playable like as like even
in
it.
They did a secret lair for orc cards, but it was like kind of it was
they're all pre-existing Magic cards.
Yeah,
and so what they did is they did factions for Warhammer 40K, but they didn't do factions for Fallout, where factions for Fallout would have made a lot more sense because there's less of them, first of all, and second, like you could do like mutants, you could do what.
Well, they kind of did.
Well, no, I guess they did do mutants, but they just combined science. Like there's not a Brotherhood of Steel. There's not, you know, but specifically with like pertaining to Warhammer 40K, they should have done this format where they just kind of just had a bunch of different cards from different, like, I don't know exactly how they would have formatted it, but like that would have worked for the what they did
there's
here.
more factions.
Yeah, there's so many different factions in 40K, whereas, and I think they could have done a much better sampling of like various factions like in their universes beyond, had they not just like strictly done Necrons, Tyranids, Imperium, and what was the fourth one they did? I can't even remember. Doesn't matter. But like
It's just too much.
This one is really bad. There's color fails. There's like the Wise Mothman is one of their main spoiler cards. Like this is a marketing thing for Fallout 76. I don't know. I never played Fallout 76. From what I can tell, the Wise Mothman is not a very titular character in it. Like
it's pretty niche.
And from what I can tell, the only card so far that's been spoiled that even touches on like the first two Fallouts are Dogmeat, but that's only because Dogmeat comes back in Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Like, so this is really, I really don't like. So I will say Caesar Mardu is perfect for Caesar's faction. That's fine.
They did nail that.
Dogmeat, sure. Naya, Jeskai for Dr. Madison Lee. Sure. Madison Lee is I don't have a problem with her like being included. I don't remember much about her from Fallout 3. Like she was definitely a character, and she was definitely an
apparently she's
character.
got a bigger role in Fallout 4. She returns in Fallout 4 and has a meteor role.
Oh right, she is.
I have not played Fallout 4.
I have, and wait, really? She's in Fallout? Is she in the Brotherhood of Steel? I guess I haven't played much through that quest line before. But I will. This is my biggest problem. This is the one that really drives me insane. Is this one right here?
Yes, I actually really agree with you, Tor. But I want to go ahead.
This is a color fail. Like I mean, Mr. Say what you will about like he should not be red. He should not. His whole thing is control. Like all he wants to do is have full control. Like
not chaotic.
It's really true.
It's horseshoe theory. He so wants control that it bleeds into. But I think he should have just been like, why isn't he Esper? Why? I get like white and black because he is pretty, but like this guy, the fact that he's not blue is really like insulting to just like the character lore. Like I think like the abilities that like he or his like text, like what the card does is very like it works. Like it's a very good representation of like what he is like on the strip. But the color scheme is so. This is obviously just to fit like a Mardu color scheme. Like there's no reason he should be red. There's no reason he shouldn't be blue.
The one thing, Tor, is that a lot of die rolling cards are red.
Yeah.
So if you want to make a die rolling commander that doesn't have red, it's going to be a little bit tricky.
Didn't they? Aren't there some is it die rolling now though? Isn't there? Is it?
Yeah, from D&D and stuff. I mean, die rolling is not a hugely powerful mechanic here. I'm just going to quickly read this card. So Dr. House, President CEO. He's a 3-mana Mardu commander artifact legendary human 04. Whenever you roll a 4 or higher, create a 3/3 colorless robot artifact creature token. If you roll a 6 or higher, instead you create that token and a treasure. And then it's got 4 and tap, roll a 6-sided die, and an additional die for each mana from treasures used to activate this ability. So you can spend treasures to stack the odds in your favor. That's very cute. Notably, any 20-sided die, it makes it a lot easier to roll a 6 or 4 or 6 or higher, right? So that's another way that Dr. House is stacking the odds in his favor, which is that's fun flavor. But yeah, I agree with you, Tor, Mardu does not fit for Mr. House, and I think it's just because that precon, the Caesar one, is kind of the New Vegas plus like villains and raiders, like,
so just every
precon.
villain in the Fallout universe is Marty. Like that's what drives me kind of crazy. It's like they have this like this doesn't
Not
feel
a lot of
well
Brotherhood
planned out.
cards.
What
Yeah.
was that?
Not a lot of Brotherhood cards. Not a lot of those armored characters that are on the front of every game. Like,
yeah, like really, like.
Well, we also
I'm
haven't
sure
seen
Power
all the
Armor will be a
cards.
thing.
Yeah,
that's true. We have.
It's weird though because they obviously do like. There's like it's basically they're like, all right, here's the cards that we have to include for marketing reasons. Here's the cards that we'll do for fan service, like this Gary card. I'm happy. Gary was a great little
Gary's
like
so
surprise
fun.
in Fallout 3. For those of you who don't know, in Fallout 3 there's a vault you go in where they basically just clone the same guy like 100 times, and every time they clone thousands of times like over the course of the year, and he degraded mentally where he could only say his name, which is Gary.
So
he's kind of like a Pokemon.
You just running, you're going through these like, yeah, he really is. He's basically a Pokemon. No, but it's like a hilarious quest because you walk up to this guy, and he just turns around and goes, Gary, and then just starts shooting you. I'll just say, and it's a really funny, which is like, that's cool. It's just like, it just doesn't feel right for some reason. Like something about these universes beyond like they don't feel well thought out. They don't feel, I don't know. There's just
too many cards at once.
Yeah, that's too. There's
hard
too much
to sink
like,
in.
Yeah, it's tough to just do like a one-off thing with like an entire like universe of lore. It's really tough.
This is going to be me when they do the Sopranos Universes Beyond. I'm going to be livid like Tor.
I can't wait for Polly.
They didn't. Yeah, they made Artie Bucco Esper. What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
His name is Ralph Cifaretto.
There's the guy.
I feel like everyone's going to be Gruel. Like almost everyone.
Well, it's Italian, so they're going to be Naya.
Oh yeah, Naya or Gruel. Like that's like the whole set.
So
it'd be amazing.
Well, what are the colors of the Italian flag, Tor?
Oh, jeez. Is that why? Is that why the Cabaretti and
I think so. I think so, Tor.
Is that always just like weird to me that the kind of like Italian themed one was Naya? That's so funny. Okay, good job, Magic. I'm not as mad at you now.
But like, here's the thing. I think there's this awkwardness here because none of these decks contain Esper as colors, right? Because there's a Sultai deck, there's a Jeskai deck, there's a Naya deck, and then there's the Mardu deck. So there's no way to print a Esper card in this combination of colors.
So is Sultai the mutant one?
Sultai is mutants. So. Yes.
And the figurehead they chose to spoil was the Wise Moth.
Yeah, I also find that weird. I would think master, like some super mutant.
One of the most iconic villains, like the most iconic villain in the Fallout universe, is the Master. And
that's like doing a Mario secret lair Universes Beyond and choosing Ludwig instead of Bowser.
Yeah, that's really true.
It's so weird. Like that's maybe the Mothman is like a big part of Fallout 76. I think Fallout 76, despite the awful release, like they did actually like try to make it a playable game, and I commend game studios for at least trying, which is not something game studios really do anymore. But yeah, like this is just like, this is so markety.
Yeah, it's rough.
And I get that they have to,
But like, here's the thing, like regardless of the number, there are going to be some misses, right? But I think there are also a decent amount of hits that they have here. There is like the Nuka-Cola vending machine, which is pretty fun. There's Gary.
Vats is awesome.
Vats, Radstorm. Like
Vats seems like a really, really good spell. Look at
Flavor.
Yeah, so reading Vats here. It's a 4 mana instant with Split Second, which if you've never seen a Split Second card before, it just basically freezes the stack until this resolves. So no one can respond to this.
It's the instant.
And I mean that works for
It's
Vats because
super
you are
instant.
pausing time to make your selection. And then you choose any number of target creatures with equal toughness and destroy those creatures. So, if you can like, I guess the flavor here is you're like identifying a bunch of raiders and they're all the same raider and you just go,
Well, in when you enter Vats and it looks like that interface, and you would basically like scroll over to that raider, touch his head, like say fire on that one, and then move over to the other raider, and then say like fire on that one. So it'd be like, pew, pew, kind of that. That's a cool one. Radstorm is, I just kind of like the spell. I like anything with proliferate.
Dude, this is sick. So in this set, there's a new mechanic they have here, which is radiation or rad or like whatever. You can get a rad counter, which is like if you have a rad counter, so it's something you get as a player. And if you have a rad counter at the beginning of your upkeep, you remove a rad, or like I think first you take damage and mill cards equal to the number of rad counters you have, and then you remove a rad counter. So the rad storm is supposed to proliferate those rad counters, make them bigger. It literally is just storm and proliferate for 4 mana. But like
instant storm is always good.
But like imagine this in a Super Friends deck, or in a poison deck, or in an energy deck. Like this is just good with so many ways.
It's an infect killer.
Yeah, that's for sure, right? You have a deck with the hollowed, like a hallowed rot priest from 1. You get them a counter or 2, and then suddenly storm them out.
I found this one kind of weird. The Vault 101 birthday party saga, which is like,
I love that.
For those who don't know, that the Vault 101 birthday party is basically like the tutorial level of Fallout 3. It's just a weird inclusion, I think. Like it's just like, oh right, you kill a rad roach and then you get a BB gun and like and you get a sweet roll. Like it's like the flavors there, I get it, but like why?
It's
why
pretty,
is this? It just seems like fill it. Like so. I
it's
see
an
like,
iconic moment.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
And it's like okay, you get a what you can put a equipment
on
aura.
A creature.
So like you get those brewers out there. They think about I can put Eldrazi conscription or whatever, or something crazy onto my creature or some big equipment, and he gets some like flavor there.
I do like Rex in here. I hope the king is a card they print.
Ooh, that would be sick.
Because the king is basically an Elvis impersonator who's like the leader of the gang.
Yeah, that'd be great.
He's pretty like altruistic in terms of like gang leader. He's a great character. But Rex is his cyber dog that he has you cure. Oh, just like real quick, because I'm gonna be
an
done.
Hour and 45 minutes in.
Yeah,
real quick. Belly is dying. Belly is non-verbal at this point.
Sorry, Belly. I'll we can wrap.
Is this how much I love you, Tor?
Mike is gone, and then like Mike is gone, and then Tor and I have just used the leash that we've been have to just drag Belly around the recording studio. We have a whole game that
I
we
was
haven't
supposed
played.
to be coming down on y'all.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, go off, Tor.
Okay, this was something that I've just had in the bank for like a year, and I'm still mad about it. In regards to the 40K, like they had all these characters from the 13th Black Crusade, but they didn't have fucking Creed. They didn't have the cigar munching protector of Cadia, who was like one of the most iconic pieces in Warhammer. His ability was like game breaking in Warhammer, and they didn't include him, and I was so mad at them. He is one of the greatest characters in Warhammer, and I am fucking upset. And now I'm done talking, and I thank you for being patient with me while I griped about Magic the Gathering. And does anyone have anything else they'd like to add before we wrap up?
So, okay, I do have one thing. We've talked. Well, we've discovered. Sorry, that Discover is a mechanic in Lost Caverns of Ixalan. But no, we've discussed in this episode quite a number of things. We've discussed table talk jokes. We've discussed, Magic Con. Actually, we didn't even get into like Ben's experience at Magic Con. We've discussed, bugs and Pokemon and Universes Beyond and Fallout and all that stuff. But are you prepared?
Oh my God, you did the game. You made a game, and you haven't unveiled it until now.
Yeah. Well, we'll go very quick. The IKEA.
Why didn't you interject earlier?
The IKEA versus bug quiz. Okay, so here's how this is going to work. I'm going to give you the name, a Swedish word, and you have to tell me if it's. We're just going to play like one or two of these, and then we're going to end the episode.
And we have to tell if it's bug or IKEA, right?
It's either IKEA, the name of IKEA furniture,
or a bug.
Of a table, specifically a table at IKEA, or it's the name of the Swedish name for a bug. Okay.
Okay. Give us number one.
Okay. Number one is a fluga.
That is IKEA furniture.
IKEA table.
And what did you say, Ben?
That's a table.
That is incorrect. It is the Swedish name for a fly.
God damn.
Whoa.
See,
with a K?
No,
or with a G?
Fluga.
I thought it was fluga.
Okay. All right. Next one. Getting. I don't know about my pronunciation.
Table.
That's Swedish for cat. That's Swedish for kitty.
And what did you say, Ben?
Bug.
It is a bug. It's a wasp, baby. Okay. And next one is now I can't even pronounce this. A morbilanga.
That's a bug.
Yeah, it's a bug.
Table.
Belly's right. It is a table.
Damn it!
Whoa.
I'm so bad at this.
It's a table.
This is insult to my Scandinavian heritage.
The next one is a nickelpiga.
Table.
It's got to be a bug. It sounds so bug-like.
It's a ladybug.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yay.
I love that.
Is Tor at 2?
I think
I'm only at 1. I think it's the first one I got right.
We're all at 1, I think.
You just got that one right.
Oh no, I got table right before.
Yeah, Tor's at 2.
Okay.
Oh,
I think
God,
Tor. Okay. Should we do one more and then
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, this is very Swedish. Trollslanda.
It's like
And it has two dots above the A.
Oh, definitely IKEA table.
It's got. I guess
I'm going with
table.
bug.
No, bug.
Okay. It is a bug. It is a dragonfly.
Yes. What is it?
A dragonfly.
A dragonfly. They named their dragon. Wait, is it really a troll fly? That's what they call dragonflies.
Odonata
Maybe.
in Latin.
All right, guys.
I love you, man.
I love you, man.
Is there anything you want to plug, Ben, before we
let's Ben plug.
Subscribe to me on YouTube. I'm Highway with a
and TikTok or Instagram.
Yeah, my Instagram is it's.ben.easter and my TikTok is a throwaway, so don't even.
Okay, so just YouTube. Just YouTube.
Oh yeah, my Twitter's also
Twitter.
Highway.
Yeah.
You got to get this content has to be on TikTok, right?
It is, yeah. I'm just trying to see how much it can grow without like brand convergence.
Oh, interesting.
So
quite
okay, lads.
If you find me on TikTok, send me your address.
Are you going to send them goodies? What are you going to send them? Or are you going to send them bugs?
Not anthrax.
Okay, I love you.
It will not be. It will not be deadly. All right. See you later, guys.
I love you, Highway.
Bye.
I Love You Manna is brought to you by Joe Biden 2024. You want a little bit more of the same? You want a little bit of that gumption, America? You want more from me? I love some. I'm the